Hello everybody and welcome to the Real Housewives Edit. My name is Elle and I am here to talk about the two loves of my life, editing and housewives. Today I'm going to do a very requested scene, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Gone with the Wind fabulous, Kenya kind of showing her Kenya-ness. Kenya has come so far over the years. I just think she's such a fantastic housewife. I know she's controversial, but which housewife isn't controversial? Like, I feel like if you're a housewife and you're not controversial, like, get off my screen. I'm not here for that because we as human beings are controversial just within ourselves. I'm not saying we do the things that the housewives do, but we are definitely all very, we are dichotomies. We have lots of sides to our personality. We have pasts. We see ourselves in these housewives, but they're kind of on a magnified stage, if you will. So I'm gonna stop talking and we're just gonna jump right into this scene.
But it's experience with her.
It's different, that's true.
I get that experience with that.
Oh, wine.
Oh, that's nice. Ooh, that is dreamy.
Thank you. You switch it.
I know,
Nice
girl.
Okay, so we're starting this scene very light and breezy, right? Like, ooh, wine. It just looks like a very beautiful, vacation where everyone's outside, everyone's dressed pretty, we have some really nice light music. Anytime you see a scene, especially in the Real Housewives, and you see it sort of be light and breezy, just know that we're probably going to be changing directions down the path. Unless it's one of those I don't know about you guys, but I tend to sort of check out when they do adventures and stuff like that. Like when it's oh, we're going, racing cars or snowmobiling or something. You're just I personally am not necessarily here for it, although they make it very short. They definitely need to show that there's other stuff going on, but I'm really here for the meaty sort of relationship drama stuff between the ladies. So anytime you see a scene sort of start light and we're not going snowmobiling or something like that, likely we have some stuff coming down the path.
Is that nighttime attire for the bed?
Yes, it can be.
Is Candy coming tonight?
Yeah.
I think Candy went to sleep.
She was asleep on the bus.
Oh, so honey.
Retired early.
Oh, no.
Cynthia, what do you think about the bow renewal?
It was beautiful. It was just simple and
beautiful.
So again, the lightness is also with some small talk, but you can also feel a little bit under this small talk are they trying to poke, a little bit here and there? Is something trying to be sort of opened up? I always know whenever there's light small talk and the music is light and breezy and they start asking about did you like this? Or what did you think about that? Someone's trying to stir the pot and cause something to go down.
once I realized what was going on, I loved it. It was great.
I know, and he was crying. It touched me, honey. I got a few tears in my
I know.
eyes.
Peter cries in a second. He talked a good game, but trust me, he be the first one crying.
Oh,
He's very emotional.
To pull something like that.
that was beautiful.
I was
You love your dirty draws, Miss Cynthia.
I'm glad all of us will take this trip together.
Well, I have to
I
say,
couldn't wait to be around King. I had heard some of his stuff.
Oh my gosh. And there it is. So it's all light and fun. Oh my gosh, Peter's this, Peter's that. And the editors are doing that for a reason. Sometimes you guys might be why are they just having this small talk in here, about Peter? Who cares? It's really to sort of set the stage of oh, everything's gonna be fine, right? Everything is just light and breezy. And then Nene comes in with this
I couldn't wait to be around King. I had heard some of his stuff.
and it's record scratch. Okay, drama's about to ensue.
But you were different on this trip, though. I have to say, my first encounter with you when we had lunch to when you came to my event, me just observing you here, you're just like a different person to me.
She prayed over
She
me.
seemed relaxed, she seemed nice. It's nothing ever happened between anybody, myself or...
Sometimes you have to warm up to somebody and you have to get to know them a little bit better and get comfortable.
Okay, so you guys hearing the music is the same as it was at the beginning of the actual scene.
But you were different on this trip, though.
The music is light, what they're saying is light. Now, why would you guys think that they're continuing to draw this lightness on for as long as it's going? They're doing it for impact. When it actually does shift and when the tides do turn, if we've had enough time where we feel oh no, everyone's getting along, everyone's cool, this is so nice. They're making amends with each other and talking sweetly to each other. this isn't so bad after all. When things actually do happen, it's just a bigger impact and a stronger contrast.
Comfortable, figure them out a little bit more
But I
when
feel
the
like
walls come down.
So you guys can meet on good terms. What happened?
Well, we had lunch, and I knew that you would be.
Okay, so the music has changed.
What happened?
Well, we had lunch, and I knew that you would be an inspiration for young women.
Okay.
And Nene, of course, over there in the corner, stirring the pot just a little bit, says, so what changed? Like, basically, tell me what the bad stuff was, right? And then the music shifts. You can hear it. It kind of turns, it's less light. It's a little bit more like, okay, like curiosity. It's kind of building a little bit as Porsha's talking.
That you would be an inspiration for young women.
Okay.
So the charity event was powerful women in Atlanta coming together to give proceeds to my grandfather's charity.
Okay.
So at lunch, I invited her to come to the event, and it wasn't like she was an honored guest. It was you come and be amongst other women and other actresses, you know, athletes' wives who have huge charities, very successful. And just to me, once you got there, you just act like nothing was good enough for you. You seemed like you were bigger than the event. And to me, well, that's how.
So as Porsha's talking, instead of showing a ton of Porsha talking, what are they showing? They're showing Kenya loading. She is loading as she's listening to this conversation because obviously she's disagreeing with some of what Porsha's saying, and she's starting to get some opinions and form some opinions of her own. We can see it, that stuff is starting to, you know, move inside her head like, no, and her face does not seem so happy about what's going on.
Well, that's how I felt. I'm really speaking on how I felt.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what she
That's
was
what I'm
thinking
saying,
because
really.
she didn't tell me what she was thinking. All she told me was I called her Miss America, and her title was USA. And from that point on, it was like, how dare you call me Miss America? I am Miss USA, and I'm disrespected, and I'm leaving. I'm standing on the curb.
Okay, so now they're sort of showing reaction shots of like Phaedra being like, that doesn't feel right. It's just got a different feel to it as Porsha's speaking. Obviously, Porsha's tone is going less from like, I love her now, like everything's different, to a little bit more like she's getting upset about what the conversation was actually about. And you're seeing that in the reaction shots and the music. Really what we're seeing right here is the tide is turning on our scene. Our light, happy intro is not so light and happy anymore.
So, I don't even know why we're talking about this. I'm over you. Get over it.
When you disrespect me, furthermore, my grandfather's home, all that legacy and history that has been built.
Okay, so love that. So Nene's the one who stirred the pot, and then as Porsha's starting to ramp up, what do they cut to Nene doing when they have so many shots that they have of her? I'm sure they have shots of her looking over, you know, kind of being engaged in the conversation. But of course they show a shot of Nene like checking her nails like, did I do that? It's got that vibe to it.
And you come and think you're bigger than that? It can't work like that. It's unacceptable.
Yes.
It's
If it's
unacceptable
the
to
way
me.
you're thinking it, if it was unacceptable, that would be the case, but that wasn't the case.
So what's the case then?
Well, you know what? That was a while ago. I'm really over
See,
the
this is why I
situation.
have- this
It
is
really
why I
doesn't
have-
matter.
Okay, so the music stops.
So what's the case then?
Well, you know what? That was a while ago. I'm really over
See,
the
this is why I
situation.
have
Kenya's like, really, what are we doing here? Are we revisiting this, or are we starting to like, were we patching things up, right? And she's like, no, I'm not going to do this. The music stops, and that's really to cue us, like, honestly, something much bigger is coming. So that music that was sort of vamping right there while Porsha was going off about, you know, her grievances about Kenya at her grandfather's thing, then all of a sudden the music stops, and we know as an audience, whether you know it consciously or not, if you've been watching my videos, you're conscious of it. That break in the music does not mean like, oh, break in the music, break in everything, because there's still tension. If there's still tension between characters and there's a break in the music, trust and believe we are about to head up another mountain.
with her. She doesn't even.
Yeah, but I think
she's
I
a
feel like-
non-factor to me because
I
if
feel
you
like-
if
You're not
if,
factor,
oh, I
bitch.
didn't say an F
First of all,
word.
you're-
Okay, I'm
you're
not to curse
not-
at you. You are
you're
so
a
hood and ghetto.
non-factor, okay?
Really?
You're a non-factor.
Really?
Okay, and the reaction shots of Phaedra and especially Nene are killing me right here. So the music is a little bit more energy as they're speaking over each other. They show Phaedra kind of looking like, what the heck just happened? And Nene looking like, again, what happened? No, Nene, we get you. We see you.
Okay,
Yes, that's
how
the
so?
case.
How so? How so?
Become
am I not a
relevant, and then maybe I'll
factor?
have a
Really?
conversation with you about that,
Okay,
okay?
honey.
I'm clearly not ready to talk to her. I'm being polite, and she's pushing the issue.
Don't act nonchalant with me because I don't like that. You being disrespectful all over again.
What you like.
Okay, well,
it's not about what you like.
Don't talk to me. Don't even look at me. Don't be in my circle.
Honey, please. You don't be in my circle. I don't want to be in your circle, honey.
Period.
Please.
I don't like being put in a corner because I'm a fighter. If you put me in a corner, I'm gonna scratch somebody's eyes out.
What are we in high school?
What are you talking about?
So I think it's interesting, like these are some of the older seasons. What they've done a lot with confessionals these days in 2022 is while they're actually speaking in their confessionals, they cut to a lot of reaction shots in the actual scene. What I noticed in some of these older franchises is they actually just let the confessional play out so we can see the character just speaking to us about what's happening in the scene. I really do love what they do now, which is having, you know, a little bit of confessional where we get to see them talking, but then they cut to the ladies in the actual scene, kind of like almost reacting to the confessional.
What are you in, Miss 40-year-old, whatever you are?
Yes, bitch.
From
40
your
and
title,
fabulous.
a bitch?
40 and fabulous.
Period.
Like I just stepped off the stage yesterday. Like I just stepped off the stage yesterday, okay? 40 and fabulous, honey. You add 10 years.
And again, what shots do they pick of Phaedra? She's literally sipping tea. I want you guys to just remember there are so many shots that editors can choose for reaction shots, but they choose them very specifically. And this one is just sort of showing that Phaedra is like, I'm part of this, I'm watching it just like all of you are, but I am not becoming a part of it.
Add 10 years to your age and 10 years to my age. Yes. Then tell me how fabulous your title was from. Yes, bitch. How many years ago? And your grandfather's foundation was how many years ago, huh?
Okay, so I love when they leave in stuff what the cameras do, like they actually follow the wine glass as she puts it down instead of just showing the shot of Porsha like just putting down the wine next to her. And that is to direct our attention to it a little bit more, almost like the wine glass is the subject of that shot, because the wine glass being put down is the subject. That means violence. Not necessarily violence, but something's being put down because Portia's getting ready for something.
You're trash. You're making me relevant. Sweetheart, you are nobody. What have you done? What have you done?
Who are you and why are you talking to me? You are a bitch and a dumb everyone.
Okay, so scenes like this where it's just literally, they're just literally cutting back and forth between the two ladies talking and arguing. I guess from my perspective, just as an editor, I'm just like, how are they working with all of this audio going down? They're having to pull out the other ladies' mics. I'm sure they have a boom mic that they're grabbing this from. A boom mic is something that's overhead. You know, I'm like, how are they isolating voices as well as they are without just having it be like a cacophony of sound on screen? I'm always amazed at the sound editors in these shows.
Please, honey, you're the tramp with the damn tramp stamp on the back of your butt. Are you serious? That fake booty and boobs and everything else that has to do with you? Yeah, and you can kiss my booty all day long. Listen to me. How dare you invite me to that?
So what's interesting to me just from, you know, watching so many seasons of this stuff, like nowadays, if this fight was going on, they'd probably have more cameras on. It seems to me like they have maybe 2 or 3, but it feels like in a scene like this, they would probably have more cameras going down, because what you see is a lot of the time Kenya or Porsha are being blocked by the other ladies. They're trying to pull each other apart, which, you know, they're just doing what they naturally would do, but we're not seeing a lot of FaceTime. You know, right here, we're about to see a little bit more because I think, you know, Nene's kind of clearing the frame. But as I think franchises have progressed and seasons have gone on, they've gotten more cameras in the mix so that we can get more angles and see more of their faces. We want to see people's faces as they're fighting. You don't want to just hear the voices and see the back of someone's head. So I have a feeling that they would watch scenes like this, you know, producers and stuff, and be like, we need more cameras in there. We need someone we need coverage from the back. We need coverage over different shoulders. We need more coverage. Just my total uneducated guess.
You're irrelevant.
You're the Chinese man you want is baby trash. Trash. This is why I'm
She's the one talking.
Ken just went all sorts of cuckoo. I mean, really cuckoo.
You can't have a
And why? because you started it, which is fine. I'm down with it. I'm just saying.
You can't have a conversation with somebody who has no sense whatsoever. She has no class, no sense.
Listen,
I'm over it.
but everybody gets to express their feelings. You don't get to just start screaming, Kenya.
I didn't start
But you
screaming.
didn't. But you can't.
Don't tell me about your little cheerleader circle. Nobody wants to be in your cheerleader circle. Really? Cheerleader? You're 31, you act like you're 21.
But wait, Kenya.
It's ridiculous. She calling me bitch.
Okay, so now they're just cutting back between conversations because obviously the tension has broken a little bit because they've split off into two different camps, but they have to cut between the two conversations because they need us involved in both storylines. Obviously, there's two different points of view. You have Porsha's point of view, you have Kenya's point of view. I think in this scene, you're not really sure like whose point of view are you supposed to be on because we started kind of cool. Kenya didn't really start anything. This conversation kind of came out of nowhere. Where are we supposed to land here? So when they're in these two different locations, we as an audience are kind of like, okay, who are we landing with right now?
Off the stage yesterday, you can kiss the blackest part of my behind.
Oh, good.
If you don't tell somebody, because my title was 10 years ago, who gives a your grandfather did his work 40 years ago. Does that make his work irrelevant somehow? You don't make any sense.
Okay, but you
don't
are
make any
around
sense.
people. Don't come in your face.
And you guys can also see just from a production standpoint, we don't need to get into, what's going down here, but you can obviously see that they have lights going on. So when the girls are a little bit further out towards the pool, it's a little bit darker, but as they come underneath the awning or whatever, you can tell there are actually professional lights, a lot more lighting than just like some little overhead lights like under an awning. You can see as the girls come a little bit closer that they become much more lit. And obviously that's where they want the action to be. Everyone wants to be in the lights always because it's the most favorable, for their looks. But you can also see like they're coming into the lights because that's where we're gonna see the most action. If they were to take the fight further out, we would be like, we can't really see it. So the smart ones know where to find their lights.
You want to be me. You touch me. That's what I want you to do. Touch me. You don't.
Okay, that's really all I'm gonna cover today. I think that is just such a great scene. I love those moments. I miss Porsha. I love the moments of Kenya sort of holding her own, early seasons on. I think we've been through so much with Kenya and she's been really vulnerable with her journey with a lot of things, and I thank her for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, subscribe, do all the things that YouTube likes. Leave me a comment. I would love to read it. And until next time.
Going with the win, fabulous. Okay? Thank you.
Well, all right now.